Hello everyone. My partner and I will be advocating the current minimum wage plan in California, with it currently being at $10 an hour and progressively increasing $1 each year until it will finally reach $15 an hour. My first claim is that there is a substantial difference in California's minimum wage and its living wage, and we feel that that needs to be changed. My second claim is that the current plan needs to stay in place in order to provide an affordable way to live for the people of California. And my final claim is that the inflation from the rise of the minimum wage will not affect everybody. So first off, there is a substantial difference in California's minimum wage and its living wage. I'll explain what a living wage is. It is simply the amount of money an individual should make in order to afford basic necessities, including rent, food, and transportation. The current average living wage in Orange County is $14.05 for a single adult. If the current minimum wage is only $10, do you see where this could be a big problem? We currently sit at a 23.5% rate of poverty in California, which is the highest of any state in this country, as stated by the Huffington Post. Now, what would be a way to solve this issue of poverty in California? Well, I would suggest that you seriously listen to some historical evidence of how raising the minimum wage did benefit us a pretty substantial amount. From 1996 to 1997, there was an 11.76% increase over the previous minimum wage, which in turn caused the 7.7% unemployment rate to drop down to 6% unemployment. So I do have a couple other notable instances in which a minimum wage increase did benefit the unemployment rate provided by the State of California website and by the Federal Reserve of St. Louis. From the span of 1998 to 2001, the 11.65% increase over the previous minimum wage caused a 6% unemployment rate to drop to 5.1%. From 2008 to 2011, though we were approaching the Great Recession with a 12.2% unemployment rate, with a 6.7% increase of the minimum wage, we start to see a downward trend of unemployment. In 2014 to 2015, there was a 12.5% increase over the previous minimum wage, and it in turn caused the unemployment rate to plummet from 8.2% down to 5.9%. Now here we sit in 2016 with an 11.1% increase over last year's minimum wage, and the unemployment rate currently sits at 5.4%. Of the last 40 years, 4.7% was the lowest unemployment rate in our state. So now at 5.4, I would say that we're doing pretty good. Second, the current plan needs to stay in place in order to provide an affordable way to live for the people of California. We need to start seriously considering the lives of the people that live here and not just the wealthy business owners. My opposition states that our plan will hurt various businesses and in turn cause negative repercussions, such as making it harder for employers to hire more staff. Now, I can see what the concern with hiring an entry-level employee can impose on a business owner, but don't you think there could be some benefit too? In theory, it would weed out any of the not-so-good workers. As a business owner paying your employees $15 an hour, wouldn't you have your managers maybe pay a little bit more attention to your staff and their productivity? If that were the case, then you can cut the ones that aren't doing well, thus reducing your employee pay from your budget and in essence saving money. Though that may not seem ideal, it would really create a more professional environment for your business and possibly even bring in more revenue. Isn't that the point anyways, to earn more business? Then maybe paying less employees this much isn't a bad thing. Then, once your business earns more and is adjusted to the new minimum wage, which by the way, I'll remind you, is only $1 more each year, not a big chunk at a time, it shouldn't prove too detrimental. You can hire on new employees as you feel so necessary. Brian Jones, the Director of Public Affairs at a company called Zito in San Diego, states that paying increased wages attracts young talent to the city, which in turn benefits everyone. When these employees get paid more, they feel more appreciated and in turn continue to work harder. And more on this, BLS.gov states that businesses' budgets usually pay about 68% of their earnings from the year to their employees. Though that number may sound like a lot, the average pay going an employee's way without a bachelor's degree is $15.95. As mentioned, our current minimum wage is on an upward trend, halting at $15. So there's less than $1 difference between these two amounts. There's no denying that this change will affect businesses in one way or another. However, the difference isn't too dramatic considering the current average. Finally, my third claim is that the inflation from the minimum wage will not affect everybody. Business.com states that the minimum wage is not directly correlated with inflation in today's economy. Though, as my opposition mentions, there will be inflation, the minimum wage is not the sole reason that it happens. Actually, what Business.com gets at is that these two are pretty independent from one another. For example, if today's minimum wage was adjusted for inflation, we would be earning the same amount as those working minimum wage jobs in 1956. Interestingly, if the minimum wage had increased at the same rate as the cost of living, we would currently not be working up to, we would currently be earning $16 an hour for minimum wage jobs. The other thing that you do have to take into consideration is that not everybody works these minimum wage jobs. It's kind of just an entry point. A lot of people are currently working in their career field that they went to school for and are making an average doing so at about $28 per hour with their bachelor's degree, which, as I'm sure you all realize, is more than $15 an hour, meaning that most of these jobs will remain unaffected by layoffs other than at the normal rate of a capitalist economy. So I will reiterate, we need to keep the recently accepted plan intact if we want to have any hope of seeing an upward trend in California's economic system. Thank you.